Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on The Insight. However, before we begin, we apologize for those little minutes that would kept you waiting. Remember, on The Insight, we'll bring you and we'll x-ray heartbeat of issues, policies, topical headlines, problems that help in shaping our nation. Today, we'll be discussing or looking at the Igboman through the eyes of Ferdinand Anikwe. We've brought you an expert, Ferdinand Anikwe, PhD, is a lecturer and director of culture and cultural dialogue, Godfrey Okoye University, Thinkers Corner, Enugu. He is the former president, Pan-African Cultural Congress Bureau, Addis Ababa. A former director general, National Center for Blacks and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC. He's a man of many parts. He is a retired PAMSEC, Culture and Tourism Chieftaincy, Enugu State. He was equally a former administrator or local government chairman in Enugu State. Also, Ferdinand Anikwe, you're welcome to The Insight.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
All right. Also, unusually, but my first question will be, I know you're an Igboman, but I want my audience to know, I want our viewers all over the world to understand, yes, we are talking about the Igboman, but that is not every Igboman that is qualified to discuss the Igboman. So tell us, what qualifies Ferdinand Anikwe, PhD, to discuss the Igboman? Because we are going to look at the Igboman through your eyes.
Yeah. Well, I want to say that, first of all, I'm an Igboman. I was born at Ihuaya, Amansiodore, a Zag local government area of Enugu State. And I had passed through rigorous experiences in terms of what the Igboman passes through in Nigeria. I've also traveled and come back. But most importantly, that there are fundamentals that are definitely imbued within any Igboman, whether I've gone to school or not. And those are the issues that will compel us for a number of discussions today. I also schooled at the Ihoya, St. Patrick's Primary School in Ihoya, Amansiodore. I went to secondary school at Comprehensive Secondary School, Awo Mama, in Imo State. Okay. Another area in Igbo. So
we've moved from Enugu,
so I'm
Imo.
purely an Igboman.
Okay.
Yes, even when I went to University of Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Yes, the University of Port Harcourt situates on Ikwere land. And the Ikwere people are Igbo people as well. It has just given me some varieties, some versions of the Igbo and their understanding. So the general Igbo worldview, I have captured from different angles.
All right, awesome.
In Igbo land.
All right, so that's a very good one.
Yeah.
For want of time, I know that there are a lot to unravel about you. You've been in a chairman and former president of pan-cultural organizations and pan-African educative organizations as well. I know there's a lot to unravel, but also, let's look at it. I want you to introduce the Igboman to the world.
Thank you very much. Well, by nature and by our own peculiar circumstances, the Igboman is rigorously schooled in the norms and doctrines of proper survival in an African environment. And the Igboman, based on the fact that we are endowed with all kinds of gifts by nature, by God, we are prepared to live anywhere, function anywhere, and most importantly, all the time, coming on top. The Igboman begins to grow with the affluent philosophy of looking for the highest, for the best, for the biggest. It is quite natural. How I wish some of you have the opportunity of reading a lot of volumes of academic presentations by Igbo scholars on what they call Ahajok lectures. A lot of them, Echeruo, VC Uchend, and there is one I want to make reference to, that of Professor Animalu of physics, who says that the Igboman had critical intelligence. And I want to say it is not because Kenneth Aneke was the very first indigenous vice chancellor of University of Ibadan, or any person like Batten has broken through in robotics engineering, or Emegwali in what do you call it, computer. We have, or that Chinua Achebe has done it in assessing and bringing the Igboman to the world through his books like Things Fall Apart and The Arrow of God. I mean, or Cyprian Quincy. Many people have done a lot of things for the Igbo people and on behalf of all of us. Right. Because when an Igbo man is shining, he is doing that on behalf of every Igbo man. But what I want to say is that even the Igbo man that has no opportunity of showcasing what he has internationally, nationally, or even at the state level, has that critical intelligence. And please don't take him for granted. An Igbo wine tapper is actually endowed with all kinds of sophisticated ideas, philosophies embedded, and these things are inheritances from our forebears, our ancestors.
Also, what you're just saying takes me to my next question. But please, let's pause a little. I want to talk to our viewers on Insight. Wherever you are watching us today on the Insight, please get your pen and paper. This is not the usual the Insight. The Insight today requires that you have your pen and paper, because a lot of information will be passed across. A lot of things will be unraveled. Remember, we are still discussing with also Ferdinand and Anikwe. Also,
yes, my brother.
This takes me to my next question. The threats of the Igboman. The threats, the qualities of an Igboman.
Well, it's a sociological term. Well, in terms of natural traits of the Igbo,
yes,
the Igbo man, as I said earlier, is rugged from birth. The Igbo man does not accept no as an answer.
The Igbo man does not accept no as an answer.
Not at all. Insofar as what he has prepared for and what he's struggling for is yes. So no does not satisfy him.
Okay.
It is not because he wants to compel you. I want to make a reference to a number of works of art within Enugu metropolis, which to a reasonable extent depict the ingenuity, resilience, and the foresight of the Igbo man. If you are coming from the airport, I know you will see another aircraft. That one has to say, discuss the arrival of international aircraft by these Ethiopian airlines. You know, I'm close to them. And then, of course, says Peter Mba has also brought our own airline. But if you are coming straight to not branching immediately, there is this tortoise, a wrestle with a tortoise. It takes a real eye to observe. It is purely a point in tourism. But the Igbo man wrestles with the tortoise. The Igbo man
wrestles with
the tortoise. The tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless. It keeps coming off from one angle through the other. But the Igbo man wrestles with the tortoise and studying what the tortoise is doing, and still overcomes the tortoise. Let me tell you, during the civil hostilities that eventually resulted to all kinds of maiming and massacre, killing of the Igbo people in 1967, a BBC world reporter came through the whole of Eastern region, went through our major cities, Enugu, Aba, Onitsha, what have you, Nsukka, even down to Cross River, Calabar, and the rest of them. And he said, the report in the news was that in spite of what happened to the Igbos in northern Nigeria, many people's homes were destroyed, many people maimed, and some came home. There was no beggar on the street.
There was no beggar on the street.
There was no beggar on the street.
That's remarkable.
Yes, if you have read Chinua Achebe's works, you will see that the Igboman has what we call extended family system. And you are nothing if you think you are a billionaire, if you think you have made it everywhere, and you have not been able to make sure that you have impact on lives of others, your relations, your extended friends, many other brothers. That is why the BBC World Report said, in spite of what happened to the Igbos in northern Nigeria, there was no beggar on the street. So the Igbo man is resilient, he's hardworking to a dimension that nobody can describe. And as I said, he must succeed. If you go to the desert, if the Igbo man is traveling through the desert, he must find an oasis. In spite of which you come home, you must commune, you must enjoy, you must extend your feelings, positive feelings, to your own brothers. And that is why that example was made. In spite of the fact that the Igbo man is ingenious, he is versatile, he is productive, he is also quite cooperative. Okay. Any Igbo man that lacks this is no longer the Igbo man we're talking about. I don't want to talk about wealth, but I said every Igbo man was born with affluent philosophy.
With affluent philosophy.
It is not just whether you are the richest, but no Igbo man wants to die with small mind. Good. It is not a matter of aim, but low aim is a crime. And no Igbo man any person that aims low, that if you aim lowly in Igbo land, then you belong to other groups, maybe blood crossed. Every Igbo man has an aim that soars high.
All right. Also,
then I want to tell you that the pre-colonial social anthropology that describes the Igbo behavior identified them as people who rise. In spite what you now have in political science as democracy, or as monarchy, the Igbo man had the democracy that is greater than that of the Greek city-states. It is called democracy by consensus, consensual democracy. The Hausa Fulani ruling aristocracy had theocracy, the emir or what have you. As a result of religion, they appear somehow monarchical, but it is theocracy because religion rules. Our brothers of the West have monarchical absolutism, the Oba, and either of them, when they went to dance culturally, when the dances are going on, you see that it stems from the political, social, and cultural programs of those people. For instance, when the Hausa or the Fulani girl is dancing, it's with high pitch, but quite remembering that there is a powerful institution, and that is the emir. Both the emir and the monarch of the West have powers of life and death. But the Igbo man, there is what we call some measure of individualism. We have leaders. We have people that are leading by merit, but they don't have power of life and death. And we are democratic. The Igbo Village Assembly demonstrates democracy at its best. Every person at the Igbo Village Assembly has a say. And so, reflecting on the dancing patterns and styles, you will see the Fulani, Kawonu, Dan Fulani, and they will be dancing, recognizing that there is somebody there. Yes. It's not the Yoruba dance in drama series. If they want to criticize the king, they will do what we call dance drama. And they will be talking to themselves, dancing, to show what the king was doing. Because you cannot face the king in Yoruba and say where he goes wrong. But the Igbo man, when he decides to dance, he dances vigorously because the dance is agreed, both by the Eze. And can I tell you?
Go ahead.
Our people recognize our followers even first before the leader. Let me give you an example. We say, Oha Eze, Mmaman. Oha is the people. Eze is the leader. Is the king. But the Eze allows you, first of all, to recognize those, his constituents, before you say Eze. So, Oha, Neze, Maman, Ohaneze, Ekenemu. So the Igbo man has recognition and reference, including all kinds of respect on earth to the Oha, the people, including the people you think that they are not feeling very well. Therefore, because of that, when we agree to dance, we dance at Elogu, we dance together, we dance all kinds of dances, like the one you call Ikorodo for the women, outing of the girls, and beautiful things that they show vigorous outing, which the Yoruba avoids, uses drama, which the Northerner tries to dodge, giving all kinds of feminine display of those dances. Even when the men in North want to dance, it's one of those things you see. Let me tell you again that the pre-colonial social anthropology of the Igbo recognized all our efforts. In some communities, the masquerade ruled. There were legislative masquerades. Some of them were executive.
Also, there were legislative masquerades.
Masquerades. There were also masquerades that belonged to the executive, and there were masquerades that belonged to the legislature.
Can you throw light on this?
Achuku belongs to the judiciary. Achuku is the masquerade in the night that comes to judge in communal problems, communal crises, even cases between husbands and wife. The masquerade will talk in the night, and the ruling has been accepted, and the community obeys. That is the pre-colonial Igbo social anthropology. Coming further to the legislative masquerades, they talk in parables. They forecast the future. They talk in a manner that you may not understand, except those who are initiated. And so the proverbs of the masquerades, we have examples around us here. For our people from Owa, you have Okochina Tangene, and if you go to...
Also, what does that mean?
No, let me tell you. No, Okochina Tangene is merely a description of how powerful the masquerade is. Okay. Okochi is the dry season that keeps the stream, the springs dry. So Okochi na Tangene.
Okay.
Because that masquerade is that powerful that you don't challenge it. If you want to challenge that masquerade out of wits, terms of wisdom, arguing and discussing on the whole, my dear brother, the Igbo man is complex. The Igbo man is rich in ideas. Come and see what they produce. An example is the Ijele masquerade. The Ijele masquerade is one epitome of the affluent philosophy I've told you about the Igbo. The Ijele masquerade is like the universe in motion. And as the Ijele masquerade is going, you will see reflections of the galaxies. You will see a mirror that mirrors you. So as the Ijele is going, showing you what he has, the same Ijele has a mirror that also captures whatever is there. In addition, even the latest technology of computer, including the handsets, they are all in the Ijele. The Ijele, as I said, it has even the ghosts, married women, pregnant women, young and old. And the aircraft, Ijele is, as I said, a mobile universe. And the concept of the Igbo man's affluent philosophy is not only replicated in Ijele, which is an entertainment masquerade. It's the fourth function of the masquerade. But those of them that are into legislation, I mentioned some of them, Abara, Inamokwe, and Obuto Galashina Sato, in my own, including Ezodo. Ezodo is the king of the Odo masquerade that talks about everything on earth, including how the air moves. Anything on earth has description and terminology by the Ezodo. And most importantly, the Igbo man is so spiritual. And in short, almost the most spiritual person in the whole world. Unless you don't bring the kola nut, then there is no prayer. If you bring kola nut 500, even 1,000,000 times a day, they will pray 1,000,000 times, because kola nut is a strange fruit. And some people, I just hope you give me enough time to explain. And some people begin to ask, why don't the Igbos allow the women break the kola nut? My dear brother, the Igbo man is #1 person that loves his wife. He does not want his wife to get into all kinds of risks in temptation. Because kola nut is a fruit that came. It tied itself. You open it, it came, the way they saw it, it was astonishing to the Igbo man. But the man tried to find out what it is all about and ate it. He couldn't even sleep. He uses pepper and some other things. But because of fecundity, the women bring children. The Igbos so much love their women that they don't allow them to attempt new things. Therefore, they will not touch this kola nut. That is a stimulant that appears from nowhere and tie itself upstairs. So the Igbo man says, let me see what the kola nut is. And because it has come with all kinds of wonders, you pray with it so that God comes to bless it further. And if you eat it, it will not offend you. The women are not allowed to enter the evil forests because they can be affected. Anything they see there might prevent them from bringing children. That's why they don't climb palm trees. How can you allow a pregnant woman to climb a palm tree if she falls? Because the Igbo man values lives, values the human being. And it is wonderful, very mysterious that a woman comes, after 9 months another child comes. And then you pamper, you cohere, you protect, you prevent anything from happening to this woman. That is why she doesn't climb. Some people say that a widow are what do they call? They say they fight for widows, and you tell a widow not to do these things. A brother to the deceased husband will take care of her. Yeah, there could be some disparities. Some people who didn't do well, and such people are also taxed by the community if they don't do what they're supposed to do. And so that is one I talked about, the prayerful nature of the Igbo man. And our names refer to Chukwu Gozie, Chukwu Agozie, all kinds of things, Olisa, and that. So we are in heaven.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will continue to be there. So we understand the concept of the living and the dead. But there are some other institutional practices. So when we're talking about monarchy in the West and theocracy in the North, yes, we talked about what we call consensual democracy. But can I tell you, institutional references have been made in Igbo land long years before the white man came. And one of them is the Ozo. And you know I'm an Ozo title.
Yes.
Then the people made it available to us. But you see, let me tell you that this one is a rare contribution. That is an institution that predated also in Igbo land.
And what is
it? It was called DIM.
DIM.
DIM, D-I-M. But that such a person was too powerful, and though he even had his ministers before the people came, DIM was so difficult to attain. But he had Dinta, the minister of hunting, Dioch, the minister of palm wine and enjoyment, Dimba, the minister of sports, Digi, the minister of agriculture,
also,
and Dibye, the minister of health.
Also,
now, yes, my brother. Okay.
Is that the DIM I saw in Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu? Is not.
Thank you. DIM Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu was like a king, under which some of these other ministers came, and of course he rose to be that when he was leading Biafra. Let me now tell you, you have Umudim in many places. Yes. It is in Amokwa. Yes. It is in Owa. It is in my hometown, Amanshore. You have Umudim. You have Dim Oilama in Amokwa. You have Ohebe Dim. Yeah. You have Dim all over Igbo land. That was the first set of the kingly recognitions that time. But when the institution of Ozo came, it came with some other beautiful wisdom and wonderful ideas on what the Ozo was doing in pre-colonial Igbo land before the white man came. Okay. There are 4 very important functions of the Ozo. The Ozo is a judicial officer. The Ozo is an economic mogul. The Ozo is a powerful politician. He represents his community. And then the Ozo is a spiritual director in the community. And when the Ozo wants to try the son, the Ozo is trying anybody, if the son is brought before him and is found guilty, the Ozo pronounces his son guilty. And
his son.
His own son. Let me tell you, if you want to try what I'm telling you, even without being an Ozo, if you want to say the truth, if any person wants to think he's very fast or smart, get down. If you bring cola nut, watching the sky, remove your shoes and tell lies, you will die in the next few hours till tomorrow. So the also does that. And when you see us put Abubu Ugo is the bird, that is the eagle. It goes higher. If I'm in an aircraft, you meet it. Then you see something like vulture too at that level. But Ugo goes higher. And so the also for Igboman means just the same Igbo philosophy of reaching the highest, being the best, being the richest. That is why that symbol of Ugo is placed there, so that the other keeps soaring. Because as a leader, you must be faster than the people you are leading. And so as a political leader of Igbo community, the other goes with the eagle feather. And there are many other things. You tell me, you called me to talk about Igbo people.
Yes.
Be ready, because I will talk for 1 month.
Also, this is a series. This is a series. This is just an introduction to the Igboman. So it's a series. We are not in a hurry. We would exhaust it if it's exhaustible. However, on the note of what you just said, I will let us go on a short break. And when we return, we will continue to look at the Igboman through the eyes of Ozo Ferdinand Anikwe.
Hello, I'm Debra Wakoba. I am Chidimike Mede.
I am Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Insight. Today, we are discussing the Igboman through the eyes of Ozo Ferdinand Anikwe. Ozo, thank you. Now, I want us to look at what are the traditional values that shape the Igboman?
Yeah. Thank you. As I already mentioned, many institutional references, as I've talked about the other. But ordinarily, for those of you who would have had a little experience of sociology, the Igboman has what we call rites of passage.
Rites of passage.
Rites of passage. R-I-T-E-S.
Rites of passage.
Rites of passage. Now, there is when an Igbo child is born, we have the naming ceremony.
Okay.
because it has to be referred as something. And that is the beginning of the expressions of the way the Igbo people think. Our thought patterns, our philosophical behavior, and our psychological dispositions find expressions in the names we give to the children. Chukwuebuka, God is too powerful. Ngozi Chukwuka, God's blessing is the highest. Bekenedeli Chukwu, thanks to God. And a lot of other expressions. The first rite of passage is naming ceremony of the child. The child begins to grow. And he is initiated in another rite of passage, which is membership of the age grade. And age grade also belongs to the executive arm of the Igbo governance structure.
The executive arm?
Yes, because the age grades actually carry out the implementation of policies initiated by Council of Elders, the Igbo Town Hall, Igbo Town Unions. I teach these things in the university. They come up with ideas. They come to conclusions on what should be done. They are like the Legislative Council, which have been wrestled from the masquerades. The white men came and wrested a lot of powers from masquerades and gave it to women, give it to men. Even women come to the House of Assembly to legislate. It was unheard of in pre-colonial Igbo land. But the age grades are the instruments of execution of government policies. And they go with songs. You know, Bana Bana Yabana, Bana Bana Yabana, Bana Bana. Such things, when they come up with beautiful things, those songs, those emotions, they strengthen the Igbo people. They go in unison. They work together, they collaborate, they cooperate, and they fell the trees, construct the gutters, build the market stores, age grades, and age grade A. And let me tell you, the people in the village identify with these age grades, which are institutional. So the patron of an age grade may possibly, and also as I am, my father, Aneke Okabachara, he also answers Ahwalezama. The age grade, he became their patron, have brought a lot of very powerful people. Now they have grown up. My younger brother, Edwin Anikwe, is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's a member of this Ahwalezama age grade, which my father founded. I now inherited them. They are now, I'm now their patron. And age grade is so crucial, very functional, and very effective in community administration. So you belong to the age grade. It's another rite of passage. The next one, you get married. It's another rite of passage. What you call, well, they call it wedding ceremonies, but to call it Ibanku. You come in, you bring a lot of wine, demonstrating, you know, marriage as an institution can take us 2 weeks in discussion. The marriage institution is the most fundamental that has been founded by God himself, without which there would be no human being. And therefore, an important part of this rites of passage is the marriage institution. And when you come there, you have grown, and you can now be given an assignment by the Igbo community to which you belong. And within this period, you are expected to be organized, to be thoughtful, to be predictive in a number of things, whether you are an Ozo or not. Remember that I told you that every other Igboman has this endowment of critical intelligence. Yes. So within this period, the Igbos can trust you, and you can go on their behalf for many programs outside your own locality. Okay. So you are rigorously tutored, you are schooled in the processes of growing as a community man in Igbo land. And that includes, one, being your brother's keeper. Remember that one of the big names which our entrepreneurs answer when they have done well is Akuruno. If your wealth has not gotten home, you've not started. I'm doing a work on Igbo apprentice. This is one thing that has made the Igbo man master.
That would have been
of everything.
that would have been my last question to introduce the next series.
Yes,
that we'll
okay.
go into.
Let me finish the.
So let's get the this.
Well, and well after the marriage,
Yes.
then you begin to acquire, begin to belong to a number of institutions in Igbo land, masquerades. In short, you would have joined the masquerade group before marriage because you begin to learn those ideas, those sophisticated philosophies, the contributions, the proverbs, which made the masquerade to rule. Because as a man, you are supposed to understand how the masquerade operated. So you would have been grown enough to belong to the masquerade organization. Then, after marriage, you get to such institutions like the Ozo. It combines wealth, experience, spirituality, and social relations. And also is, again, an orator. Because you are supposed to tell the world. You are a leader. And we very much advocate these days that our leaders should take the institution of Ozo quite important. Even if your community does not take Ozo title, there are things that are similar to Ozo title. Some people enter the Concord, or some others into this kind of masquerade. They call it. Some call their own Oha. Some call their own Okobo. There are different grades of people coming into a mature process of reasoning. And you are now titled to the extent that you avoid a lot of things. So the time you've come to that other stage or the category of people that are titled, you will avoid a lot of things. You don't eat in the public. You don't meet a man's wife. You don't abuse any person. You are also regarded. And when you want to eat, it is like the Almajiri in northern Nigeria. I mean, the emir in northern Nigeria, where Almajiris come and they eat after they had gone begging and all that. The Igboman does not beg. The Igboman is, I won't call it pride, but the Igboman is so honored, so dignified on his own, and has integrity. You must have an integrity if you want to say you are Igbo. These people that are shooting, these people that are killing people, and they are not Igbo, so it's possible that blood crossed, because the Igbo man goes with integrity. And you talk of integrity. I'll tell you of A.J. Lewis, who defined integrity as doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching.
Doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching.
Yes, A.J. Lewis, Lewis, he says that integrity is doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching. And we are saying that an Igbo man that has gotten up to the stage of the institution of an Ozo and all other things that are associated, some other institutions across Igbo land, will have to avoid certain things.
Okay.
And one is that you must be a man of integrity. You must be dignified. You must be conscionable. You must respect people. You also be respected. And when you want to eat as an Ozo, they will be beating the Ekwe instrument to announce to the people that food is ready. The children come because the Igbo man works so hard, he does not beg and cannot come and beg the food. But the children will come. So after you have eaten, the Igbo man has a lot of respect for welfareism. And that is why I mentioned Akulu earlier. So, and also, if I go to my village now and I want to eat, the children will be beating this ekwe to announce to the people that food is ready. The children can assemble and eat together with other children. But any man in his house or a family, whether they are eating even the nuts from palm tree, they will not come and eat with you.
All right.
Because every Igbo man strives. So, as I said, apart from this institutional position, you will now go to the age of what I would I call it. That is the age of a display, the age of contributions to societal progress. That time you would have had several bands of yam. Today you could have been a judge, you would have been a billionaire and all that. What is required of you is what you contribute for community development. That is the age of helping others.
That's where Akuruno comes in.
Yes. So the after that stage, then you are the stage of realization, when other people will come to you. The last of rite of passage is that.
So, all right. Also, yes, given all this, let me deviate a little before I ask my question. I said we'll usher in the next series. Why then is it, given everything that we've said, why is it that there are some communities, some groups deny their or dispute their Igbo identity or their origin?
No, if any person who wants to hide the Igbo man hiding his identity, oh my brother, no.
There are people that will say they are not Igbos.
No. It's better such people we don't even need such people. But the truth is that some of them are doing it, maybe begging for maybe economic assistance. If you don't know the history of the Igbo man, when the white man came, our people repelled the white man because we had our own internal social organization. And some of you, when they are talking about Nobel Prize and all that, I'm not sure you've been able to read through all Achebe contributed. Achebe is assertive to display what the Igbo man is. If you read what Achebe did, Achebe was proudly showing the way the Igbo man lived. So if you see what Okonkwo did in Things Fall Apart, it's pure recognition and exact behavior of the Igbo man.
All right.
We are not trying to beg any person to be with us.
Also, I'm sorry. The directors are signaling us already. But for our viewer, the next part will be where we'll be talking about the Igbo entrepreneur spirit. If you are watching us, we've been speaking with Ferdinand Anikwe, PhD. He is a lecturer and director of culture and cultural dialogue, Godfrey Okoye University, Enugu. He is equally the former president, Pan-African Cultural Congress Bureau, Addis Ababa, and equally a former director general, National Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC. If I continue to reel out his profile, it will take another or a longer period than the program itself. Also, Ferdinand Anikwe, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
And I hope that you join us when we begin to talk about, we'll begin to unravel the Igbo entrepreneurial spirit and entrepreneurship, the apprenticeship system that is being celebrated now all over the world.
Thank you very much. The Igbo man from creation had never been a dull person. The Igbo man had never been lazy.
All right.
If you actually want to say you're an Igbo man, you learn from what others are doing.
Also, that will be the next part. Will go in the next series when we will come in. So, thank you, our viewer, for remaining with us. Remember, on the inside, your voice matters. So, reach us with your views on this topic or other issues you want us to discuss. Remember to reach us on Aneke TV, all on our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. Till come your way, same time tomorrow. I remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye.